So folks, today I'm going to be talking about an anime from my childhood that I have a lot of nostalgia for, but I also realized that it's kind of shit, but in a way that you kind of can't help but love it, and it is Save Me a Lollipop. Now, I'm going to be doing a lot of dunking on this anime, but I do love it, but I don't know, I just need to kind of just get all these thoughts out into a video. After making fan art that I posted in my community tab, I was like, yeah, I needed to make a video about this because, you know, I don't usually talk about anime on my channel because a lot of the stuff that I watch is long and, you know, I don't feel like having to do a bunch of notes and blah 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 for one series, but Save Me a Lollipop is 13 episodes, so it's doable. You know, the stuff is so fresh in my head, so I figured I might as well just get it all out in like a giant word salad of a video. Let's just dive into a lot of my thoughts and issues with the anime. The number one thing is that it is a romantic comedy anime. It's a shoujo, and the romance is, it's very, it's not good. Like, so there's two love interests, Zero and Ichi. And actually, I should probably explain what the plot is first.
I just got a good-looking guy who's really strong and sweet. Someone will protect me and bravely fight to hold my arm.
The teachers drop a ball called the Crystal Pearl at some random spot in an indie world.
You put it in your mouth and you swallowed it!
I accidentally swallowed the crystal pearl, and now I'm in big trouble because I'm being chased by the sorcerer examinees from the magic world.
And yeah, that's basically the plot. It is a kind of interesting setup, but yeah, that's where the romance comes in, because Nina basically falls in love with Zero and Ichi, and there's like this whole will they won't they love triangle thing going on. But after a few episodes, it's very obvious that the anime is trying to be like, yeah, Zero and Nina are gonna get together, and I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like these two together. And it's mostly just the writing. I feel like if the writing was better, I probably would like the ship more. I don't ship anybody in the series because the romance is just not good. It's not well written, so I'm just like, I'm not really feeling compelled. There are some moments that are definitely kind of cute. I'm like, okay, it's cute, but like, out of context, you know? Like, if you did not know the anime, you'd be like, aw. But if you watch the anime, you'd be like, oh, well, I guess that was kind of cute, but you know what I mean? I don't know. So basically, my main issue is with Zero. He's like, the best way to describe him is like, he's like a Walmart version of a shonen protagonist written into a shoujo. He has all that energy and he's very hot-headed and stuff, and he doesn't seem to really give a shit about what Nina's feelings are. Like, he has moments where he's like, oh shit, I'm not being thoughtful about how Nina feels, and he, you know, he's kind of going through like he does have like some character development, but I feel like it could be better, especially with Nina, because she is so annoying. Like, the anime really wants me to think that she's like this really nice and sweet protagonist, but she is like so bitchy all the time to Zero and Ichi, and it's like, girl, relax. I don't know. I'm gonna get to that. Anyway, yeah, so Zero is very, you know, emotionally immature and blah blah, and, you know, I don't know, he's always bickering with Nina, and I do like the whole banter sort of dynamic in like media, but I feel like this is one of those cases where it wasn't really done well. He's kind of an ass, and Nina's also kind of an ass to him as well. So it's like, it's a little, I wouldn't want to say it's toxic, but it's definitely getting there, you know? I just don't like their dynamic. It just doesn't feel great to me. And Ichi is the mature one. He's the better option in my opinion, but it has some issues with him, which is why I don't really like the ship. He's more mature. He has the kind of stereotypical like pretty boy thing going on. He's, you know, shoujo sparkles every time he does anything. He has more of those like stereotypical romantic moments with Nina, which is kind of the anime's way of being like, ooh, these two might get together. But in reality, it's just to kind of throw everything off, because we all know that Zero and Nina gotta be the ones to get together. And the reason why I said Ichi was kind of like, I didn't like him, is because he's a little, I don't like his backstory and all that. Like, so his backstory is pretty much that he was like a delinquent, but considering the fact that he's like 16 or 15, that means that he was like that when he was like middle school age or whatever, which is already kind of weird. And I was watching the dub, and the dub had like the same voice actor as his current character, so it was throwing me off, because I'm like, how old is he supposed to be here? Because Zero's like, he looked like a little baby, you know, he was like tiny, and I'm like, wait, what? So it was throwing me off. But apparently he had like a crush on his half sister, I think, or either it was half sister or stepsister. Either way, it was pretty bad. And he didn't like the fact that she was getting married to some guy named Jeff. Well, understandable, so that was one good thing that he was doing, his backstory there. But yeah, he had a crush on her, and I was like, okay, what? That's kind of weird. The anime never really goes in-depth into a lot of things, and that was one of them. It never was really explained why he, like, had a thing for her. She didn't reciprocate those feelings, which is good, because I was like, oh boy, considering a lot of the problematic stuff that goes on in this anime, the fact that she did not feel the same way was already like, alright, thank you. Thank you for not going down the route, because that would have been dark. I did not want to deal with that. But yeah, I didn't like that. And also, so there's this other character named Roka, who, so apparently she's like a little kid. She's like 5 years old, but she has this like adult form, and she goes to the human world or whatever to chase after Ichi because she's in love with Ichi. It's never explained why she's in love with him, and that's another thing that's not explained in this anime is why the fuck is she in love with him? How does she even know who he is? She's like 5, so how did they meet? It's never explained. I don't read the manga, so I don't know if that's explained in the manga, but it wasn't explained on the wiki either, so I guess it wasn't. But yeah, so the reason why I bring up Roka is because throughout the anime, he's like kind of turning down her advances, isn't taking her seriously, which is good. But then I read the wiki, and Ichi, what the fuck is wrong with you? He married Roka.
FBI, open up!
I need to remind you, Roka was 5 at the time. And obviously he got married her, I don't know when, but somewhere down the line, they got married. And I'm just like, what? She's been in love with this guy since she was like 5, and she's constantly pining after him. And then one day he just was like, gave up and was like, yeah, I guess I'll marry you. Even though he's known her since she was like a little, basically a toddler. What the fuck? So yeah, I don't really like Ichi that much anymore. After I read that, I was like, okay, Ichi, don't jail. Just go to jail. Like, why? Like I said, that was just... That was like probably the worst of all of that. But yeah, I just did not like that. So I don't like Ichi that much anymore, even though he's like the more mature and less toxic, I guess, option for Nina. And now I gotta get on to Nina, and I don't like her. For one thing, her voice actress is good, but also her voice is very annoying. She screams in like every episode, and I'm sorry, the voice actress that they picked is like has like the most like screechy and like squealy sounding screams I've ever heard in my entire life, and it is so annoying. And when you have a character that is constantly yelling and having to hear like voice cracks and stuff, it really grates on you after a while. You're just like, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up. But yeah, so she's always yelling, and Nina's just kind of like I said, she was bitchy. Like, I remember this one episode, I think it was like episode 8. So this chick comes from like the wizard world or whatever, and she randomly, apparently she was like engaged to Zero. That was never explained why that was a thing. There's no backstory to it. She just kind of shows up for the sake of, you know, plot and conflict. But anyway, she shows up, and there's this one moment where she's wearing like lingerie or whatever, and Nina sees her and Zero. Mind you, I don't think they were like doing anything intimate. I think Zero was just like standing there, and so was her. Oh, by the way, her name was Cuckoo, which is already a freaking stupid name. But anyway, so she was standing there, and then I think Nina said that she hated Zero or something like that, and I'm like, why? Why would you say that? Like, out of every reaction you could have said, you could have been like, what the fuck is going on? Or like, whatever. But no, she had to say that she hated him. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Why are you saying these things? Like, make it make sense. Why are you being so mean to him? Like, yeah, he is kind of an asshole sometimes, but he didn't deserve that in that moment. He was just as confused and bewildered as she was. Like, I would probably be like, my mind would be all over the place too if some random person just kind of randomly came to me and was like, whatever, doing all that crazy shit. Like, sheesh, Nina, relax. But yeah, she's like always complaining, and then the anime is always trying to make her seem like she's like this really nice, selfless, cute, and sweet girl, but like, she's kind of, like I said, she's kind of itchy. I mean, I think it was the writer's way of attempting to make her like sassy and giving her a bit of an edge, but the writing is not good, so it doesn't really come off that way. It just comes off of her being kind of you know? So, yeah, and then the end of the series, she just kind of goes, like, at the end of the play, she just kind of goes full-on sacrificial, like, magical girl-esque mode or whatever, and is all like, oh my gosh, you guys are my best friends and stuff, and, you know, I'm gonna do all this good stuff, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, alright. Anyway, That's the thing. The ending of the anime, by the way, I mean, I'm spoiling a lot, but the ending is kind of, I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, it was nice, I guess. It felt very Kingdom Hearts-ish, like the dialogue was so, the way they were talking, it was like, it sounded like it came straight out of a Kingdom Hearts game. I swear, if you put Kingdom Hearts music over it, it would literally sound like it came straight out of the game.
We won't lose! We won't give up! Sorry? Forte? I decided that I don't really want the pearl anymore. Some things are more important. Wouldn't you agree? That's right! I don't care if I get me attention or not, or even if he gets me attention. I just want to make sure that he's safe from harm.
I understand exactly how you feel, more than you know.
I agree. Giacomo? Nanase? All I want to do is protect the person I love as well. Right, Nina? Let's do this! For my precious little Nina!
And also, I found it so funny how Nina was like saying how all the other what was it? The other wizard people were saying how she was calling them her friends. I would like to remind you that throughout the anime, she's constantly put in danger because all these other people are coming after her to get the crystal pearl, mostly by force. In other words, they want to kill her. And she, at the end of the anime, is like, oh yeah, you guys are my friends, I care about you guys. And I'm like, they were trying to kill you. In the first episode, these two characters, San and Forte, San used her magic to essentially strangle her with snakes to death. She tried to, but she got saved. And I'm just like, girl, do you not remember that someone literally tried to kill you and they're all trying to kill you? Like, how are you guys friends? Just because you had some like funny moments together does not mean y'all are friends. But yeah, it was so weird. And there could have been more depth into that, but there wasn't, because like I said, the writing is not the best. Oh yes, now it's time to get on to other characters. San and Forte are probably the best characters of the entire anime. They're not amazing by like regular, like good anime standards, but by this anime standards, they're pretty good. Like, they have the most development, probably because they were the first to show up in the first episode. They have their own episode dedicated to themselves, and I think it's not amazing, but compared to like every other episode, it is really nice and, you know, emotional. It goes into their backstory. Basically, San was like this cursed child or whatever. Everyone thought she was cursed because she was at powerful magic, and Forte is her cousin, and he was like, oh, why is everyone shunning her? She seemed nice, and they become friends. And I was like, oh, that's actually really cute and wholesome. I actually like that. We didn't get any more backstory episodes for the other examinees. Oh yeah, that's what the word was. But we didn't get any more of those sort of backstories, which would have been nice for Roka of all people. Like, why does Roka like Ichi so much, you know? And how does she know magic to be able to turn into like an adult? Like, that would have been nice to know. But like I said, we never get any of that. San and Forte get the most depth, which sucks, but they deserve their own anime, honestly. I think the anime itself has a good plot, but I think that San and Forte having their own series would also work, because they have like nice chemistry together. It's very cute and funny, and I think that a good chunk of the comedy moments come from those two and their shenanigans. There's other examinees, but honestly, they're just like, I don't really care about them as much. Like, there's what was it, Yakumo and Nanase. Nanase is like this femboy, and Yakumo is like a Nina simp. And there was like an attempt at a conflict, but obviously Nina's not gonna go for some other dude. And yeah, Yakumo was just kind of, he had a bow. That's one thing, I guess. And like I said, Nanase, his personality was just, he's a femboy, so that's all I gotta say. Like, there's like others, but like there isn't much else to them aside from like gimmicks, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, on to like another thing. I also found it weird how like Roka's whole thing, like, so like, remember how I mentioned how like she's a kid and she's like an adult form that she uses with like magic? I find it so weird how there's so many like fan servicey moments are with her, and I'm just like, stop, please stop with this, stop. Like, there's fan service in the anime, it's not too egregious, you know, it's like kind of what you would expect from like a shoujo anime, but it does get a little uncomfy and stuff, and there are certain comments that are made towards like Nina mainly that are like, okay, this is kind of, I'm a little uncomfy. Like, even when I was a kid when I watched this, I was like, what the heck, why are they saying stuff like this? It's so weird. Like, the main thing was just like boob comments. Like, there was so many characters making comments about how like Nina's boobs are small, and I'm like, isn't she like middle school age, like, or whatever? The wiki said she was like 12, which is already a bit iffy. She looked a little older to me. She looked like she was like 14. That's why I thought she was when I first watched the anime. So that's what I assumed. So when I saw that she was like 12-ish, I was like, oh, okay, then that's a bit weird. Hopefully that's not the case. But I don't know if there's a actual canon age or not, because I don't know, the person that put it on the wiki seemed confused. So I'm just gonna, I don't know. But yeah, I just thought that was weird. I was like, why do they need to comment on that? It's not even funny. That's like a thing in anime that I've noticed, that I don't think it's made too much nowadays, but I remember back in the 2000s and like further back, boob comments were always like a thing. I'm just like, why do people need to, in anime, need to like make comments on that? It's so weird. Like, no one does that in real life, honestly. It's so weird. But yeah, like, that was just another thing I wanted to mention. I know there's other characters, but I don't really give a shit because there's not much I can really say about them. So, guess we can talk about the other stuff about the series, the magic world, wizarding world, Harry Potter, blah, blah, blah. It is so bland. Like, you'd think that a series about magic and shit would be, like, more magical, but it really isn't. It's like the most generic, watered down version of like magic you could ever imagine. They just yell like their types of magic, and occasionally maybe like a spell attack name, like defense magic or light magic, dark magic, blah blah. And I'm just, okay, that's cool, I guess. They never go in depth how the magic system works, or like, you know, how they get their powers or anything like that. It's just we just kind of have to grow along with the fact that they use magic, and that's that. There are some moments where they show how the wizard world, magic world, whatever the fuck, looks, and it does not look any different from Earth. The backstory episode with Ichi, his neighborhood, it literally just looks like New York or something, or just, it looks so dreary. The animation, just the anime in general, does not really do a great job at like depicting the magic world. It just seems very bland. There's nothing really whimsical or cool about it. And then there's some characters, like their designs, some of them don't read as magical to me. Like some of them are like somewhat casual, and I'm like, okay, this, I guess Zero and Ichi's designs, they fit. I wouldn't really expect them to be wizards based on the descriptions, but sure, I can live with that. Sun and Forte are, passable. Roka and her butler Go, I forgot to mention that. They look okay, I guess. And then the other characters, kind of, but not really. Like, they just don't really radiate, you know, magic vibes. They just radiate something. It just feels generic. And then there's this other guy, I think his name was like Will. He shows up, he just looks like he looks like he's wearing a costume rather than like that's his actual outfit, like he's from a magical world. He just looks like he went to Spirit Halloween and put on a witch hat and was like, alright guys, I'm actually a wizard. You know, it's just a lot of the stuff just doesn't feel magical to me. It just feels so mundane. If that's what they were going for, they could have done that, but it just didn't really work. So it felt a little bland at time. And you can also tell where the animation budget went, because the attack moment that Zero and Ichi have is probably like the best moments that are animated in the entire series, and they reuse it a ton because they know that this is like their best part of the that's where all the animation budget went, and they are gonna finesse the ever-living shit out of it. They're gonna show it as many times as they can because they know that they're not gonna be able to do that sort of level of animation anywhere else because they're too busy they were probably like understaffed or whatever. But yeah, it was just, the animation has a lot of wonky moments. I'm going to point out all of them. Just, you know, some moments the characters look very out of proportion, and also because of the art style, sometimes the eyes and the way they look just look so off because it doesn't translate the best to animation, I'm gonna be honest. That early 2000s shoujo style with the huge ass eyes and the Dorito mouths, it kind of works, but also not really, because, you know, it works in like a manga form because they're not moving, so it's like static. But the moment it's animated, it looks so weird. I mean, sometimes it can work, but I feel like this anime was just, It's cute though. I will admit, it looks cute. I think it's cute. But yeah, I know I was shitting on this anime a lot. I do still love it. It's one of those things where it's like, some stuff I like from like my childhood that I romanticize a bit, and then other things I look back and I'm like, this is terrible, but I love it. Like, if I watch this anime as an adult for the first time, I probably would not like it, or maybe I would, and I'd be like, okay, it's campy. It's like the embodiment of the best and worst parts of shoujo, just meshed into like a very mid, I don't like using that word, but that's the best way to describe it, a very mid anime. But yeah, so do I recommend you watch it, despite me already spoiling a lot of the stuff for you? Sure. I think watching it could be fun. If you have a lot of free time, you could probably watch that in like two days or so, or maybe in a day if you're really, really bored. But yeah, like, it's not the best anime, but it's definitely an anime that's entertaining. So I will say that. It's not boring. That is one of the good things about it. It's not boring. It's definitely the type of anime that is very over the top. But yeah, its writing is really bad, but I think it makes up for it because of how campy and like silly it is. So that's all I gotta say about the anime. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me rambling about it, and if you want me to make more videos of me talking about just random animes that I've seen in a kind of this just combobulated style, then let me know. Anyway, see you guys later.